Yeah, sure.
Okay. Guys, another exciting conversation. I have Binay Tiwari. Binay is the head of marketing for VServ.mobi, which is a mobile ad network. They monetize more than 10,000 apps across 200 countries. So one of those big guys that are out there doing some very interesting things. So Binay, without further ado, do you want to talk about your business?
Sure. So, like you said, we're a global mobile ad network. We help developers and publishers monetize their mobile web inventory across the world. And we help advertisers looking to reach consumers on mobile do that in a very effective and targeted way, again, globally. As a company, VServ got founded about 2.5 years back, Jan 2010.
Oh, it's a very young company, eh? Oh,
and we got funded just about a year back in July 19th, actually last year. So we've had an extremely good run. We've been growing tremendously over the past year, growing globally as well as in terms of people as well. We've just set up our 4th office in Singapore recently. So yeah, it's been a great time at VServ, and we believe that the space is extremely exciting, and that's what we are here for.
So what's exciting about the space?
So I think what is really amazing is that today a student developer who can start earning 15 times more than what his best job offer is right now. And that's a story that we just did this past week. It was a developer called Venkat, who's from South India, started developing apps during his summer session at college. Recently got a job offer from a well-known IT services company in India. I'm not going to take the name. In his 3rd month with us, he's already earning 15 times that amount.
Wow!
So it's been really amazing to see that people who are passionate about mobile, looking to solve problems on mobile, have a platform today to be able to reach out to millions of users across the world and make them in the process as well. So Venkat, for example, he had created an app called the Lokpal Messenger when that whole thing was going on, and that's where the traction happened. And now obviously he's created other apps, and we featured him as a developer of the week in a series that we started doing recently.
Very cool, very cool. So what's so fascinating about this platform going forward?
So we really look at mobile as the 7th mass media. We don't look at it as a premium niche audience. We look at it as a media that allows you to reach a global audience across urban as well as rural, across all segments of consumers, and reach them in a super targeted, relevant manner, just by virtue of the possibilities of targeting on mobile.
The 7th mass media, like the 7 wonders of the world. So what are the other 6?
So I won't take the credit for coming up with this term. It's something that Tommy Owen talks about all the time. And I've been reading. So other 7, obviously, starting off from print and radio and cinema, and internet was the 6th one. And Tommy really puts it well. He says that the internet was the first media that could do everything else that the previous 5 media could do, and plus interactivity, right? And what he says about mobile is that mobile can do everything that all of the other media can do, including the internet, which is interactivity, and then adds 7 more things. It's saying that it's the old first media that's always on, always carried. It's personal. It has 100% audience measurement. It's got inbuilt payment mechanisms. So just by virtue of this, we believe that as the 7th mass media, this is going to be really big, and it's just early times in this industry. It's growing extremely fast, and yet it's nascent, so there's a lot more upside to it, and that's what excites us.
What is there to look forward to? What will this space look like 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years, or whatever your time frame?
So I wouldn't be a soothsayer and kind of comment on that, because technology moves so fast. I don't think if anybody back in 2006 would have said that there would be an ecosystem of apps which would be billions and billions of dollars in terms of an industry, and that's happened just in these short 5 years. So I wouldn't go be as snooty to come up and say that this is what will happen, but we believe that the media is already there in terms of the device being in the people's hands. It's about now latching on to the internet and I really see it as, and I'm a big science fiction fan, so I really see it as the mobile as a portal that takes you to another world, right? You could be sitting anywhere, and this small screen is taking you into another world somewhere, and that's happening by virtue of the mobile internet piece growing, and the penetration of mobile internet increasing, the adoption by virtue of affordability increasing, and I'm really excited about where it's headed, and really excited that this is just the starting. In India, for example, the over 900 million mobile internet subscribers, 350, 400 of them, 400 million of them are internet-ready devices, and only about 150 odd are starting to use, and that's a big number. That, by the way, that's bigger than PC internet now.
Absolutely.
Mary Meeker said that, right? I mean, showed the graph of mobile internet overtaking PC internet, and we believe that it's already happened, and there's a very long way to go ahead.
Fantastic. I was fascinated by your point you were making earlier about the big ad networks focusing on one part of the world versus the other,
Sure.
right? And I think I just want your take on how the emerging market works versus the emerged market, if I were to sort of talk about it in that perspective.
So we believe that so the whole app space really boomed. Started off with iOS, Android after that, and it was so to speak a developed market phenomena where they wanted to sell an app for 99 cents, which is great when it started off, because it was the same 99 cents a song kind of model that disrupted the industry, music industry back then. But I think what people started realizing is that the consumption of this is happening at a tremendous pace, and started saying that how do you monetize this without having the user pay for it? Because a lot of the guys who are using these are youngsters, and they don't necessarily have the money on the credit card to do it, and that's where other companies like AdMob, for example, started off and started monetizing that. We saw a challenge that all of the big ad networks right now in the world were focused on developed markets, focused on solving for their challenges, and the average Joe developer in emerging markets like India, like Southeast Asia, like Latin America, like Africa, like Eastern Europe, they were in a very different mobile ecosystem. The mobile ecosystem itself was very different, and there are three reasons for it. The first was that these are all prepaid markets versus developed markets being postpaid markets. In a postpaid market, you can the carrier decides what device is going out to the user, can subsidize it, and therefore have a very limited ecosystem and have that smartphone penetration can be much higher. Emerging markets, by being prepaid markets and users getting their own devices, they want to buy the best value device, which means the lowest price, best features, and that's not the iPhone, right? And that's not the super high-end Android phones either. So they were on these feature phones, which could, and people kind of differentiate feature phones and smartphones by saying, feature phones can't do this and smartphones can do this. A feature phone today for less than a $50 price point does video, does music, does mobile internet, does apps. If a feature phone does apps, what's the difference between a feature phone and a smartphone? But what we saw was that for this platform, nobody else, including any of the other ad networks, was not solving for developers to monetize their apps on these platforms. And that's where we kind of, and it wasn't just about focus, it was also about technology. It was a very difficult technology problem to solve, because ads are getting pulled in real time, right? So when you're pulling ads in real time, it takes away from the device's resources.
Absolutely.
And when you're taking away from device resources, which are already very limited on a feature phone, it breaks your app. So if you put ads on a feature phone app and it breaks your app, and if you retest it and recode it, it's an extremely challenging piece. And that's where we did a tremendous innovation in something called the App Wrapper. And what the App Wrapper does is that enables advertising on any app in one click without any coding. So, and without breaking the app. So what it does is that enables launch and exit ad formats only at the start and end, which is kind of like a magazine cover ad back and front. And therefore we said we get a very powerful ad format without any code change, without any layout change of the app, and without the user getting bugged by ads in between the application. So I think it was a win-win for consumers, for developers, and even for advertisers, because they started getting very impactful full screen ad formats on feature phones, which wasn't happening earlier.
Fantastic.
So I think it solved the problem for all three people in the ecosystem, and that's how we've been getting our growth.
Brilliant. Continuing the conversation, fascinating conversation, Binay. But what's next for this space in terms of where it's going?
So we're seeing that today there's a tremendous amount of fragmentation that is there in the industry, and as there is in any new industry, right? So we're going to see as we go along. For example, on feature phones, while there are so many different handset manufacturers, etc., that single J2ME app, in some sense, still continues to work across all of these platforms. We're seeing a lot of cross-platform development tools coming up. So, for example, we just signed up with a company in Israel called Codename One. They do something really amazing. They allow you to develop an app in Java, and then it kind of gives out as an output native files for J2ME, for Android, for iOS, for Windows Phone 7. And while this proposition was excellent, we realized that these developers were not able to monetize those apps. Because there wasn't an SDK solution that any of the ad networks had built for it. So we kind of have partnered with Codename One now, and we're enabling the ads in the same one-click awesomeness that we do without any coding. So as the developer builds this app out in Java, you can choose to enable ads, put in the VServ site ID, and start getting monetized from there.
Fantastic.
So we're seeing a lot of very interesting opportunities come up from this space, and there's an opportunity to continue to innovate, and that's what we're focused on. We're focused on today we're a global mobile ad network. However, already we're doing so much in our business that's beyond ads. So, for example, in the monetization space, we do comprehensive monetization across ad-based monetization for free users, as well as microtransaction enabled monetization using telco billing or app store billing in the same one-click approach. So we're now really as part of our business has really become extremely app monetization focused, not just from ads but also from these microtransactions.
I see. That's quite fascinating. Moving on swiftly to the next question. Very fascinating here, guys. Binay, talk about yourself. So you worked in InMobi earlier. You have an MBA, and you're educated in Jaipur, and you're a local Mumbaiker as well. So what drives you? What motivates you?
So I think the single most important thing that I'm passionate about is the internet, and that's kind of been, like I say, the pole star of my career journey. I was very fascinated with Mukesh Ambani when he started talking about how data would start getting used on mobile. This is back in 2002, and I was very fascinated about it. And I think that's where my passion for this whole space sort of came together. And I've been working. I started off working with Tata Broadband, moved to Vodafone to drive their mobile internet business, and that's what drives me. The being able to have, for example, in the role that I currently am in, I believe that it's about helping them push forward the mobile internet ecosystem. All right, that's what we're doing. So when you enable a developer to earn living off his efforts, he's going to continue to innovate. When he's going to continue innovating and make better apps, the entire ecosystem moves forward. I think that's what I'm personally very passionate about right now, and that
I think it comes across. The story about Venkat was, I think, a fabulous one, I think, right at the start. So fabulous. If there is a message that you want to give to your typical developer that's out there sitting and doing something, what would be your message? What would you tell them?
I would say it is a great time to live right now. The fact that you can create a product and have millions of people use your product in a very short span of time, that democratization of the space has happened, and I think you should leverage it. And there's no better time to leverage it than right now.
And there's no better time to be anywhere else in the world except India right now as well, right?
Absolutely.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, Binay. Appreciate it. Good stuff.